Hello.
Good evening, sir.
What? Good evening. So, I don't understand. You people have to call for every time. No, means every time you will do the class, and I need to make you call. Hello, CJ. Are not you joining? Isn't it? Shall we start?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
So, what do we start? We start that the proposal.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Okay. Do I need to give you some recap or some review or some idea beforehand before we start the resume the from the
Yes, sir.
topic?
Yes, sir.
Areva, you both are making a one sorrow. One means one sound. Okay. Now we'll start it. The proposal, which is written by Anton Chekhov. The story, the proposal, gives us the idea that, or you can talk about the word proposal, which presents the idea of three different meanings, which we discussed in the last class. So the word proposal can be presented as a suggestion, plan, or scheme for doing something. Second is called as a proposal, means also called as an offer for a possible plan or action. Or proposal can be called as a asking someone's hand in marriage. And I gave certain examples that how when you use proposal in a suggestion, like you can say that means Jesse Owens was given a proposal by Laszlo when he was attending the final race in 1936 German Olympic 1936 Olympic game. So in here you would find out Jesuin was given a proposal. It means a suggestion or a plan. Who gave? Laszlo gave. When did he give? Now in the year of 1936 in the German in the Olympic game that held in Berlin. Second, suggestion is used as an offer for a possible plan or action. Now, when you talk about an offer, you can say, Charlie Chaplin's father had given the best proposal to his wife to sell the house and to stay with him. But the proposal was rejected by his wife. Now, third is called as the act of asking someone's hand in marriage. So proposal means also the act of asking someone's hand in marriage. So when you say that, most of the time the proposal of boys to get into the marriage with a their own choice girl were rejected as per means their standards do not match, or maybe they are different in caste. So intercaste as well as the financial standard, right, prevent the proposal of the boys by girls. So this is something called as the three examples which present the idea how proposal can be used for suggestion, offer, and act of asking someone's hand, right? Now, this particular story, the proposal, is written by Anton Chekhov, is referring to nothing but means the third one, where means three characters are present, and they are, you can talk about Stepan Stepanovich Chubukov, right? Who is a landowner. Second one is called as a Natalia Stepanovna, right? Who was nothing but a 25 years old, is the daughter of the landowner Stepan Stepanovich Chubukov. And the third character is called as Ivan Vasilievich Lomov. Ivan Vasilievich Lomov. Now, who is he? Now, he is a hearty, doubtful, dubious landowner again. Now, if you see this story, the play began with the kind of a theme. What was the theme? Now, the theme presents that the tendency of the wealthy people are what? Now, they get into the marriage with the same rank, with the same wealthy people, so that their financial status will increase, right? And they live a comfy life, comfortable life, right? So this play highlights that. The play began from a drawing room in Chubukov's house. We know that means how Lomo Ben means this is Stepan Stepanovich Chubukov's house, right? So it is a drawing room, right, where Lomov is the neighbor of it, neighbor of them, neighbor of Chubukov, right? So yes. Okay. So after that, what happened? Means Lomo, who is the oh. Huh? Okay. So Lomo enters. We know that it is a drawing room of Chubukov's house, where you draw that. So it is a drawing room of Chubukov's house, or in Chubukov's house, where Lomov, or called as Isan Vasilievich Lomov, who enters. And who is Ivan Vasilievich Lomov? Now, he is the neighbor. He is the neighbor of Stepan Stepanovich Chubukov, right? So Lomov enters wearing a beautiful dress called as a dress jacket and white gloves. So the kind of a dress remarks that, symbolizes that, that what? Now, he is going somewhere like attending party, that may be called as any ball, dance party, or may be called as he is going to attend some, you can point out that Christmas Eve or maybe New Year party. So such kind of a dress he wore, and he went to meet Stepanovich Chubukov, right? So with a dress jacket and a white glove. So Chubukov rises to meet him. So when he enters, so Chubukov rises to meet him, and then after means they had a very good conversation. So Chubukov stated him with my dear fellow, my darling, my precious, right? So and then after there is a kind of a greetings exchange between each other, right? So and stated that you must come to our house. So Lomov also thanked whom Chubukov and asked about how his health condition. So Chubukov also, replied with a kind of a formal gesture, right, and asking him to sit down. And then after ask him, means dear fellow, means why are you so formal in your get-up? Means are you attending any of the means a party or what? So you are the treasure. So it seems like Chubukov watch means using the kind of a term, it seems like he was very glad to see Lomov, right? So at the same time, Lomov was also maintaining the kind of a decorum and also presenting a formality by stating that why he came there. He came to meet Stepanovich, right? So Chubukov then asked him, means why did he wear such an evening dress, whether he was going to attend any New Year's Eve visit. So Lomov means stated no, he came to meet Stepanovich and he wanted a kind of a help from him, right? So at the same time, Chubukov also imagined, as you know, that Chubukov and Lomov both were wealthy people, right? So rich man. So, but as Lomov came to Chubukov to ask means and say that what now he wanted a kind of a help, and Chubukov was the only person who could help him, right? So at the same time, Chubukov realized or thought in a manner that what means Lomov might have come for the purpose of borrowing money, right? So, but at the same time, Chubukov also thought in his mind that he shall not give him any, right? So Chubukov was again and again asking Lomov that what did he want, right? What he was asking for. So Lomov stated that finally that you alone can help me, though I don't deserve, of course, and have not any right to count on your assistance. Chubukov again stated that why are you speaking means here and there, why you are means making or beating around the bush, why you are talking the things in a indirectly manner, tell it, speak it out, spit it out or speak it out, right? Or speak up. Well, so Lomov finally spoken that what? Now he came for means he came to his house asking the hand of means Natalia's, right? Asking the hand of his daughter, whose name is Natalia, who is 25 years, whose full name is called as Natalia Stepanovna. And why? Now, for marriage. So, by listening to that, Chubukov was surprised and he was excited in a jovial nature. He pointed, oh my God, by God's grace, Ivan Vasilevich, say it again. So he seemed like he was surprised. He was surprised and he wanted to know it again and again. And that's why he asked him that, can you tell me what did you say, right? Oh my God. So what did you tell it? Can you tell it again? I did not hear it, right? So Lomov again said that I have the honor to ask you. Chubukov immediately interrupted him and said that means it was really a wonderful news, and he felt very glad also, and he immediately hold him, embraces and kisses whom? Lomov. Why did he embrace and kisses him? Now, because means he believed that it was a great news, right? And he also, pretend that he had been hoping for it for a long time, right? And it's been his continual desire. It's been his continual desire, or he desired, or he wanted. He wanted. So he, it seemed like he was in a means excited. He was excited a lot, and he was in a crying situation, right? So what did he say? That he said that, as if you were my own son, may God give you both, right? His help and his love and so on, right? So means even he was so excited, he gave what he gave blessing to both, right? So Natalia was not present, but he gave he gave blessing to both. Who? Now Stephen Stepanovich Chubukov, right? Who gave the blessing to both, right? And stated that what means may God give you both his help and his love and so on, and so much hope. What am I behaving in this idiotic way? So he was so excited, he did not know what he was saying, right? He was completely out of focus because of the excitement, because of means because of the happiness, right? So, and he immediately decided to call Natasha, right? Natalia or Natasha, right? And so that's why he pointed, I'll go and call Natasha and all that. So finally, Lomov means greatly moved, honored Stephen Stepanovich, and said that, but before he moved to call Natasha or Natalia, so Lomov asked that whether Natalia will count his proposal or not, whether she would agree to marry him or not, right? So that's why he made a comment like, do you think I may count on her consent? So would she accept my proposal? So Chubukov immediately stated that, why? Of course, my darling, she won't consent. She is in love. Egat. Egat means called as with a full of excitement or happiness. Or she is like a lovesick cat. Who is like a lovesick cat? And what do you mean by lovesick cat? The meaning of lovesick is called as a comfy, comfortable. She would love to have you, and so on. Shall not be long. And she loved you means from a long time, right? And she feels glad also when she hears such news. So by saying that, Chubukov left for what? Left for what? Now left for calling Natalia. So at the same time, Lomov, who was full of excitement, so he was feeling cold. He was feeling cold, and he was shaking. He was shaking all over, just as if he had got an examination before him. So it seemed like what when a student gets the examination, or when students know about the examination the next day. So before that, he felt excitement, or he felt a kind of nervousness or anxiety. The same thing occurred in Lomov, right? The great thing is what? Now he must have mind made up. So Lomov has already made up his mind. If he gave himself time to think, to hesitate, to talk a lot, to look for an ideal, right? So he felt like what? Means he should not have do what? No, he should not have think a lot about it. What he's supposed to do? Now, if he feels hesitate means what? If he finds out that whether to get into the marriage or not, whether he would go for a talk a lot, right? And if he thinks a lot, and if he finds out the perfect match, or if he went for real love, then he would never get into the marriage, right? So if because he doesn't want to make himself confused. So Natalia Stepnovna is an excellent housekeeper. He also thought that the lady is excellent housekeeper, not bad looking, not not bad looking, and also well educated. So what does more he want, right? So, but he was getting a noisy in his ears from excitement. So while he was thinking all such kind of questions or thought in his mind, so at the same time something is creating noise in his ears. So drinks, and it's impossible for me not to marry, right? So he feels like what means he feels like means thinking that to get into the marriage, Natalia, right? So he believes that it's okay to get into marriage, right? And in the first place, he believed that what are the negativity or what are the bad things about him. He felt like his age was already 35 years, right? In a critical age, so to speak. And in the second place, he also required to lead a quiet and regular life. So he wanted to live a disciplined life, right? And the third problem is called as he suffered from palpitation. So it means called as a high blood pressure, right? So his heartbeat is moving very fast, right? And he was also excitable and always getting powerfully upset, right? The problem in him is called as a most of the time either he gets excited a lot or he gets terribly sad, right? At the same time also he feels like his lips are shaking, right? And there is a blinking in his right eyebrow. But the very worst of all is the way he sleeps. He also finds out that the another problem is called as a means he immediately gets into exhaustion, tired, and he feels sleepy. And once he gets into sleepy, right? So he feels like his left side gives a pull and he can feel it in his shoulder and head. And he felt like insane, lunatic. Lunatic means called as a mental imbalance, right? He feels tired and then after he gets into sleep, and then after it means he sleeps for long hour, right? And he feels that this happened to him 20 times. So such kind of a problem is not the first time or second time. It happens to him 20 times, right? So while he was thinking all such kind of a thing of his life, so at the same time Natalia Stepanovna enters, right? Comes in. Natalia, well, there, it's you. And Papa said, go, there is a merchant come for his goods, right? How do you do, Ivan Vasilievich? So Natalia was telling, means Natalia was surprised by looking to whom? By looking to Ivan Vasilievich Lomov. Why? Now, because means her papa said that what? Now somebody who came or someone means a merchant who came for what? For his goods. But here she met whom? She met to Vasilievich. So Lomov, with a formal gesture, asked, "How do you do, Honor Natalia Stepanovna?" So Natalia said that you must excuse my apron and negligee. So the dress up or the appearance of Natalia was somehow called as very shabby because she was wearing the apron with the nightgown, right? So, and she pointed that he should excuse her wearing such kind of a dress, right? And she pointed also what they were doing. They were shelling peas for drying, so they were just preparing food or cooking, right? And also ask Lomov that why did not he come to their home so for a long time. And with the courteous manner, she also asked him to sit down and offer him for lunch. Right? Uh, Lomov with a formal gesture said no, not to have that. He also told her thank you. Right? He had uh, taken lunch already. So Natalia then offered him means to have smoke, and then after gave him the matches and asked about the weather condition. The weather condition was splendid or remarkable that day, and she believed that Natalia believed that what yesterday's weather condition was means worse than the today's, right? And for which what happened, the workmen did not do anything. No, the workmen did not do any work the day before, right? And she also pointed that um, many of the haystack her workmen have cut down, right? And all are going to turn rot in condition. Means they all the haystack probably uh, destroy, or you can say that uh, turning into rot condition, right? So she also pointed that she's supposed to wait for that, but uh, immediately she saw that Lomov was wearing a kind of a dress which is appearing like he was attending any kind of a ball. So immediately she asked him that, are you going to a ball or what? Why you are in evening dress? So though she must say you look better, right? Even Natalia also stated him that he was looking better, right? But uh, she asked him that why did he wear such kind of a dress. Lomov excitedly said that, you see, Honor Natalia Stepnovna, the fact is I have made up my mind. So what decision he had taken, right? Now he said that he had made up his mind to ask you to hear me out. Of course, you will be surprised and perhaps even angry, but it's powerfully cold, right? So he was going to tell, that uh, um, or proposal, or he was going to give the proposed or make the proposed to uh, Natalia, but at the same time, he was also getting afraid or fear that what, it may occur like she would get into the anger, she would surprise, or she may shout on me, right? So instead of making proposal to her, what did he say? He said that it was very cold. Though Natalia asked him a question like, why did he get up like that? And Lomov was trying to tell that he came for the proposal of marriage proposal to her, right? Instead of saying that, he pointed that you will get into the surprise, you will get into anger, right? So, and immediately changed the topic and said that it's terribly cold, right? Natalia immediately said, what's the matter? Well, what's the matter? So stopped for a moment and said, what's the matter? Lomov said, I shall try to be brief. You must know, Anna Natalia Stepnovna, that I have long since my childhood, in fact. So he was not telling the what was the reason of his coming, right? But he was telling all other things, right? Obviously, you know that when you are asking for or making a kind of a proposal, so you feel shy, right? So Lomov was trying to say, I shall try to be brave. You must know, Natalia, Honor Natalia Stepnovna, that I have long since my childhood, in fact, had the privilege of knowing your family. It means he pointed that he knows his family, Natalia's family, better since childhood, right? My late aunt and her husband, from whom, as you know, I inherited my land, right? My late aunt and her husband. So her husband, sorry, means Lomov's aunt and uncle, right, from whom he brought what, one of the land. And he said that I always had the greatest respect for your father and your late mother, right? So it means Natalia's mother was dead and her father was there. So and Lomov was telling that means he had greatest respect for means Chubukov, Mr. Chubukov and late mother, the Lomovs and the Chubukovs have always had the most friendly. So he also said that the two families had a very good relationship, friendly relationship, and I almost have a great affectionate, great attachment, respect to each other. And as you know, my land is a near neighbor of yours. Near neighbor of yours means I have a land, and that land is means next to your house. You will remember that my Ugden meadows touch your birch woods, right? My Ugden meadows means that refers to the one of the means a grassy land, right? That touch to your birch wood or that touch to your land, right? So here you would draw one of the things while making a conversation. Lomov here started one of the argument or means made a kind of a means argument, and that argument leads to the quarrelsome. How? Now, while he was talking to Natalia, he said that what? Now, there is a one of the land, and the land name is called as Ugden Meadows, and that Ugden Meadows belongs to whom? Now belongs to Lomo, right? So, and he said that what? Now my Ugden Meadows touch your virtue. So Natalia immediately interrupted while he was speaking. So interrupted, and Natalia asked or said, "You say my Ugden Meadows? Are they yours?" So Natalia stated that are they yours means are Ugden Meadows belong to you? So Lomov said, "Yes, it's mine. It's mine." What happened? Are you all listening to me or not?
Yes.
So actually, few minutes ago, not minutes, actually seconds ago, I got disconnected. Did you said something at that time?
No, nothing. Srijay, did you listen all these things?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Please, wherever you find out any kind of a doubt or query or missed out, please do ask me. Okay.
Yes, sir.
So Natalia immediately said, so while Manzu, Lomov was telling that what? He told many of the things like how he was nurtured by his late means aunt and uncle, and his aunt and uncle means possess one of the land, and that land also in the name of Lomov. And he also said that what that land which is called as Ugden Meadow belongs to him. So Natalia immediately interrupted and said that you say your Ugden Meadows, but are they yours? So Natalia surprisingly asked that whether that Ugden Meadow belonged to him or not. Lomov said, yes, that's mine. Natalia said, what are you talking about? Ugden Meadows are ours, not yours. So now the argument started, conflict occurred. That what? Now Natalia is saying that the Ugden Meadow belongs to her, and Lomov said that no, it's mine, right? Lomov said no, mine, honor Natalia Stepnovna. Natalia said, well, I never knew that before. How do you make that out? How do you say that it belongs to you? Lomov said, how? I'm speaking of those Ugden Meadows, which are west in between your birchwoods and the burnt marsh. So Lomov is strongly stating that he was talking about the same Ugden Meadows that lay in between birchwoods and the burnt marsh, right? Natalia said, yes, yes. So that they are ours. So the Ugden Meadows belong to that place is ours, right? So Lomov said, no, you are mistaken. No, you are mistaken, Honor Natalia Stepnovna, they are mine. Natalia said, so it's like a tu meme, right? So Natalia said, no, just think, Ivan Vasilievich, how long have they been yours? How long have they been yours? So Natalia is asking to Ivan Vasilievich Lomov that what means how many years they have been yours? Lomov said, how long? As long as he could remember. So Natalia said, really? You won't get me to believe that? You won't get me to believe that. So could you please make me believe that or give an evidence? Right? Lomov said, but you can see, yes. Anyone wants to ask?
No, sir.
Yeah, but you can see from the documents. So Lomov is trying to give the evidence of documents and said that respected Natalia Stepnovna, Eugen Meadows, it is true, were once the subject of dispute. So Lomov was telling the history of Eugen Meadows and stated what? Now it is true, they were once the subject of dispute, means was in a conflict. But now everybody knows that they are mine. They are mine means which are mine? Now those means Eugen Meadows are mine. They are. There is nothing to argue about, right? You see, my aunt's grandmother gave the free use of these meadows. Free use of these meadows in perpetuity to the peasants of your fathers. Right? Look into it. There is nothing to. So Lomov is trying to give. Are you finding any kind of disturbances or noise?
No, sir.
Okay. So Amrita.
No, sir.
So you see, my aunt's grandmother gave. So he was telling the whole history that how that Eugen Meadows belongs to him. So he said that it is true. So that Eugen Meadows were the once the subject of dispute, means once that particular land was in a conflict situation, but now everybody knows that the land belongs to us, right? That they are mine. There is nothing to argue about. So we cannot argue on this matter, right? You see, my grandmother gave the free use of these meadows in perpetuity to the peasants, right? It means Lomov's grandmother gave that land freely used by peasants of your father's grandfather, right? Perpetuity means what? Now continuously using free of cost, right? Or farming, right? To that particular land. And to whom? Now means Natalia's grandfather, right? Or father's grandfather. Your father's grandfather means referring to Chubukov's grandfather. In return for which they were to make bricks for her. And as we gave them the means Eugen Meadows for farming, continuous farming, and for in reply to that, what they did, now they supplied bricks. They make bricks for us, right? In return for which they were to make bricks for her, right? The peasants belonging to your fathers, the peasants belonging to your father's grandfather had the free use of the meadows for 40 years. So how many years they have been working, or they have been cultivating, they have been farming on that Eugen Meadows? 40 years. And they had got into the habit of regarding them as their own. So once they have been in the possession of 40 years, what happened after that? Now, after 40 years, they considered that, okay, it is their own. When it happened that, when they found the kind of a conflict, so they felt like what? It was their own. Natalia said, no, it is not at all like that. So Natalia contrasted. So whatever the history Lomov was telling here, Natalia disagreed with it and stated that both grandfather and great grandfather, they understood that their land extended to burnt marsh. They understood that what their land extended to burnt marsh, which means that Eugen Meadows were ours, right? I don't see what there is to argue about. It is simply silly, right? So it means father and grandfather and great grandfather, they considered that means their land is means extended means what? Stretched towards the burnt marsh. It means all these land covering with the Eugen Meadows were belonging to them, right? And they did not find out, nothing to argue about, because it is simply silly, because it belongs to them. Lomov said that he would show the documents, Natalia Stepanovna. Natalia said, no, you are simply joking or making fun of me. What a surprise. We have had the land for nearly 300 years, and then we are suddenly told that it is not ours. Ivan Vasilevich, I can hardly believe my own ears. These meadows are not worth much to me. They only come to fight dessiatines and are worth perhaps 300 rubles. Right. So she was telling that, means what is the cost of that land, and pointed that 300 rubles. So rubles means it is a story of, or it is a play of Russia. But I can't stand unfairness. Say what you will. I can't stand unfairness. I can't stand unfairness. So Natalia was making fun of whom? Lomov, and stating that Lomov was doing joking, fun, right? And she also told that the land belongs to their family or her family for 300 years. And suddenly you came and told us that it belongs to you. How could we accept that? And by the way, means the land cost is not that much. The land cost is not much, right? It's somehow called as a 300 rubles or called as a 5 dessiatines. But at the same time, Natalia hated too much the unfairness, and she pointed that she could not stand, means injustice, right? Whatever means Lomov was telling is nothing but doing injustice. And that's why she could not stand unfairness or injustice. And that's why she did not want to give it back also. Lomov immediately stated that, hear me out, listen to me. I implore you, right? The peasants of your father's grandfather, right? The peasants of your father's grandfather, as I have already had the honor of explaining to you, used to bake bricks for my aunt's grandmother. For my aunt's grandmother. Now my aunt's grandmother, wishing to make them a pleasant, right? Wishing to make them a pleasant. So it means he was telling about the history of his, that how the land went to them. So he said that I request you to listen me, right? The farmers of your fathers or great grandfather, right? So he explained that they used to bake bricks. They used to bake bricks for whom? Bricks for means my aunt's grandmother, right? Now my aunt's grandmother, wishing to make them a pleasant, means make them happy. Lomov said that. So Natalia said, I can't make a head or tail of all this about aunts and grandfathers and grandmothers. The meadows are ours, that's all. So Natalia was, it's completely in the in a kind of argument that it belongs to him, it belongs to her or her family, her grandfather and great grandfather, right? So, and that's why the meadows are theirs. That's all. Lomov again said that no, it's not yours, it's mine. Natalia said, ours. You can go on proving it for 2 days on end. You can go on proving it for 2 days on end. You can go and put on 15 dress jackets, right? But I tell you, they are ours. I don't want anything of yours. And then I don't want to give anything of mine. So there. So Natalia was full of aggressive, right? So she did not want to give it back. What she did not want to give it back? She did not want to give give that land. She pointed that whether you wear 15 jackets or you whether you stand here and speak that or trying to prove that, but let me point out that land belongs to us. So whether you stood here and commented that what the land belongs to you and you tried to prove that, right? Or you wore many jackets. It's like a criticism. But still, I'll tell you that it belongs to us, and we don't want to give it to you of anything that belongs to us. So they are ours. Give me a moment, guys.
Yes, sir.
My my Mac is demanding charging too. That is why. Guys, so far you understood?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So the actuality is what? Now Lomo went to ask for the marriage proposal to Natalia. Now where they are? Now they are in a kind of a dispute that who have that urgent meetings, and the matter reaches to the full of dispute or aggressive or heated. Natalia is not going to leave it, and Lomo was also repeatedly telling that it belongs to his family. Lomov said, Natalia Stepnovna, I don't want the meadows. Right. Finally, Lomov said that I don't want the meadows, but I'm acting on principle. Acting on principle means I followed the principle rules. If you like, I'll make you a present of them. Lomov said that what? Now, Natalia, I would present that Ogden meadows to you, but I follow principle rules. So Natalia said, I can make you a present of them myself because they are mine. Your behavior, Ivan Vasilevich, is surprise. To say the least, it means you can go down such. Up to this, we have always thought of you as a good neighbor. So we thought like you were a good neighbor, a good friend. Last year, we lent you our threshing machine, right? So threshing machine, so can be called as a cut down the grasses. Although on that account, we had to put off our own threshing till November. But you behave to us as if we were gypsies. Gypsies means what? That called as a, moving from one place to the other place. Nomads, refugee, giving me my own land. Indeed, giving me my own land positively. No, really, that's not at all neighborly. You are not a good neighbor. In my opinion, it is even impudent, if you want to know. It's even impudent, so called as a greedy and rude, right? So lots of things which she pointed negatively about whom? Lomo, and stating that means Natalia's complete comment is on what? Now, she believed that Lomo was a very good neighbor, right? And Lomo and Natalia both were telling to each other. Lomo was focusing with the principle, whereas Natalia said that means she felt that they were the good neighbors, but they were not actually. They were impudent, right? They were considering Natalia's family as the gypsies or nomads or refugees, right? So it's even impudent. So that Lomov was considering as an impudent. So Lomov said, then you make out that I'm a land grabber. Lomov said that it means, what do you want to say? I'm a land grabber? Land grabber means forcefully taking your land? Madam, never in my life have I grabbed anybody else's land. And I shall not allow anybody to blame me of having done so. So immediately what he did, Lomo was giving a very good dialogues here, that he was not a land grabber, and no one had that guts to say him that he grabbed anybody's land. So quickly he steps to the carob and drinks more water. Arjun meadows are mine. So finally, he was in such a situation, means he felt like palpitation. So his heartbeat is moving fast. So he was in a nervous or anxiety or excitement, you can say. And repeatedly he was saying that Arjun meadows are mine. Natalia said, it's not true. They are ours. Lomov said, no, mine. Right. So like this, both were, repeatedly telling to each other that means the Arjun meadow belongs to whom? Natalia said, it's not true. I will prove it. I will prove it. Means Natalia said that how she will prove it? She will prove it by sending her mowers out to the meadows this very day. Mowers means what? Those of the pigeons who was just cutting down all these grasses. So Natalia said that what? I'll send those mowers today, this very day. Lomov, what? Natalia, my mowers will be there this very day. My mowers means what? My workers who are cutting grasses, they will reach to that place today itself. Lomov, I will give it to them in the neck. I will give it to them in the neck means what? Nah, I will not allow them to do that. Right. So it means there's something called as I will force them not to reach. Natalia said, you dare. Right. You have such a courage. Right. Lomov clutches at his heart. So like this, holding tightly to his heart and said, Arjun meadows are mine. You understand? Mine. Natalia said, please don't shout. You can shout yourself hoarse in your own house. But here I must ask you to restrain yourself. Right. So obviously where Lomov was in Natalia's house. So that's why Natalia was threatening him that do not make loud noise. Right. So if you make loud noise or if you make rough behavior, you can do it in your own house. But here I will definitely restrain you, means make you stop. Right. Lomov said, if it was not, madam, for this hourful, excruciating palpitation, if my whole inside was not upset, I would talk to you in a different way. Yells, Arjun meadows are mine. So Lomov was, full of anger, aggressive, and stated in such a uh, aggressive manner that what? So if he was not facing such excruciating, means that called as a terribly palpitation, so pain in his heart, right, or called as a means a fluctuation in his heartbeat. So he said that, madam, it was his problem in his heart beating. So if his whole inside was not upset, so if he was not suffering bad, so he would talk to Natalia in a very different way. So he shouted. Who shouted? Now Lomov shouted that what? Now that Arjun meadows are mine. So obviously he was suffering from palpitation, and that's why he was not even make louder his voice, right? So he said that if he was not suffering from such kind of a situation, he would talk in a different manner. Natalia said, ours. Lomov said, mine. Natalia said, ours. Lomov said, mine. So while they were making tu me, so Chubukov enters. So who is Chubukov? Natalia's father enters. So Chubukov said, what's the matter? What are you shouting for? Right. So Chubukov was telling to both of you that, or both of Lomov and Natalia, that why you both are shouting to each other. So Natalia said, Papa, please tell this gentleman who owns Arjun meadows, we or he. So Natalia wanted to make confirm to Lomov. So that's why she asked her father that to tell him that who have that Arjun meadows, whether that Arjun meadows belong to us or him. Chubukov said, to Lomov, darling, the meadows are ours. The meadows are ours. The Arjun meadows are ours. So even Chubukov also stated that the Arjun meadows belonged to him. Now the story doesn't end here, or the play doesn't end here. So it continues, right? And we will discuss rest of the things in the next class. So it gives us the idea, the main thought, it's still not been discussed, right? And they were discussing what? Now they were unnecessarily means putting themselves in the argument, right? That who have that urgent meadows. So this clearly gives us the idea, these three characters means Chubukov, Natalia, and Lomo were the quarrelsome people, and they were quarreling with on a petty issues, right? So, and how that reached to the means such a situation, even means Lomo was facing the palpitation problems. He got into numb. He fought. He got into the faint also. He was even he was even told to go away from that place, right? So such kind of an insult he had to suffer. But whether they means get into the marriage or not, whether the proposal was finally succeed or not, whether the quarrel was finished or not, right? So all these questions answer, right? Still been not answered. All these questions answer still not been identified. We would come to know in the next class. Okay. So that's all for the day. Thank you. Meet you in the next class. Till then, bye-bye. Bye. Any doubt, any query, please keep a note of it and send it to me, or you can ask me also.
Okay, sir.
Understood, Amrita?
Yes, sir.
Srijay? Srijay, are you there? Srijay? Srijay, are you there?
Yes, sir.
You got into a very good sleep, I think. Isn't it? Okay. Bye for now.